Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 23 of 30 days, 30 bands, all live albums. I'm Davies Tallow, and here today we're going to talk about another band that started in the 1960s, early 70s, and that's Kansas. And what's odd about this is Kerry Livgren, along with Don Monterey, formed this band. It was initially called Saratoga and had Lynn Meredith and Dan Wright in the band, along with Scott Kessler playing bass and Zeke Lowe on drums. Then in 1970, they changed their name to Kansas, which is sometimes called Kansas One, and they had Dave Hope and Phil Earhart in it, and then they left to form White Clover with Rich Williams and Steve Walsh and Robbie Steinhardt. Yeah. Kerry continued on, regrouped, formed what was referred to Kansas 2, with him only being the member that carried on to the classic period. So, kind of a murky time for Kansas. Excuse me. So, anyway, they've had a lot of personnel changes over the years. And let me get to where I need to be here. That is live albums. They've done a number of live albums and live videos and such, but I'm going to be discussing 3 that I have in my discography. First one, of course, is their very first live album. They came out in support of during their support of Point of No Return, which is one of their classic albums. Of course, I think my favorite album from that time period is Left Overture. Too early in the morning. Sorry. Left Overture. So, anyway, 2 for the show. Iconic cover. 2 ladies checking out one of their booklets. Of course, not very much artwork in this one, I think. Yeah. On the sleeves here. Classic lineup right there. Classic lineup. Steve Walsh, Robbie Steinhardt, Kerry Livgren over here, Earhart, Rich Williams, and Dave Hope. Lineup that a lot of people considered the Kansas. And with me, as long as the members are solid and produce good music, it's Kansas. So, some more pictures of the guys rocking out. You get these people that say, well, so-and-so is no longer in the band, so it's not this such and such band. On the rare occasion, I'll agree with that, but not, like with recently, you had somebody saying that Styx is not Styx without Dennis DeYoung, and that the current band, Torn, is just basically a glorified cover band. Well, I'm sorry, but that's your opinion. the majority, I think, overrules you. So, anyway, let's discuss this. Two for the show. Excuse me. Starts out with the classic Song for America. Uh, Great opening song for Kansas. Goes into Point of No Return. You know, of course, Point of No Return at this point in my life is kind of one of those songs that's getting worn out with me. I really don't need to hear it again, but I don't hate it. Let's put it that way. That goes into Paradox, which is great. Icarus, Born on the Wings of Steel. Great song, but not one of my favorites. Side 2 starts with Portrait He Knew. It's a great one. Carry On, Wayward Son. Another song that's overplayed on the radio. Though I'm not, thankfully, not tired of it. Like, I hope I never do get tired of it. Journey from Mary Brown from the first album. Fantastic on here. Of course, you got Dust in the Wind. Yeah, another song that's overplayed on the radio, and I really don't listen to it that much anymore. I know there's a lot of people who say, well, Davies, how can you not listen to that song? That's fantastic. It's an iconic song. Yes, it's an iconic song, but it's been worn out. Lonely Wind, great. Goes into Mysteries of Mayhem. They do a little bit from Lamplight Symphony, and then it flows right into The Wall. Great. Side 3 right there is great. Way they have everything flow into one song to the other. Side 4, Closet Chronicles. Again, another one, not one of my favorites, but still great on here. And then I think my all-time favorite Kansas song, Magnum Opus. Another a song that I cannot get tired of, especially live. Studio version and this version. If somebody said you had to pick one to listen to for the rest of your life, I would choose the live version. It just got total hard punching energy. I mean, it just sends chills up my spine. I mean, it's just awesome. If you've never heard this version of Magnum Opus, you've got to. They just knock it out of the stadium on this one. But all in all, Two for the Show is a great live album. I'd rank it up there with the classics. Not top 5, a top 10 at least. So check it out. Okay, the next one. Now, this one was released first before the other one I got here. So we'll discuss this one first, even though it should be the other way around. This was released in '92, and it's Live at the Whiskey. And on here you got, Steve Walsh on vocals, of course, and keyboards, Rich Williams on guitar, David Ragsdale on violin and guitar, Greg Robert on keyboards, Billy Greer on bass, and Phil Earnhardt on drums. They also had guest musicians. Kerry Livgren and Dave Hope joined them. Yeah, Kerry Livgren joined them on Dust in the Wind, Carry On, Wayward Sons, and Lonely Streets. And Dave Hope joined on bass guitar on Lonely Streets, which is great. There's the band as it was then. I think It's got very many pictures in it. On the back. Well, there's Carrie on guitar. Phil and Steve. I guess that's supposed to be a Kansas tornado going through the whiskey. David and Billy. Greg and Rich. Now this one starts out with Howlin' at the Moon, the very first part of Magnum Opus, which is okay. I would rather hear the whole thing other than just a little piece of it. Then it goes right into Paradox, Point of No Return, Song for America, The Wall. They do Hold On from Audio Visions, Dust in the Wind, Miracles Out of Nowhere, fantastic. Mysteries of Mayhem on this one is a lot more energy to this. They do it differently. Robbie is not on, doesn't sing on this. Carrie does all the vocals. If you're ever on the original version, they go back and forth. But Steve, just interstellar on this. It starts out calm, and what was that? Something went right in front of the camera here. Sorry. That starts out calm, and then they just jam out, and it just between. If I was to choose the better of the two between this one on Whiskey and the one on Two for the Show, I'd say Whiskey is 2 or 3 times better than one on Two for the Show. It's just fantastic. They do Portrait You Knew, Carry On Wayward Sons, and Down the Road. This one I don't know. So, yeah, this has got the bonus track of Lonely Streets. Of course, the German CD edition bonus track was Journey from Mary Brom. It also included hidden tracks, Belexis. Of course, that's just the German edition. All in all, strong. Is it stronger than Two for the Show? No. It's hard to say. Well, Mysteries of Mayhem is a lot stronger. But otherwise, it's probably on an even keel with Two for the Show. It does include a couple songs that weren't on. I should say 3 songs that wasn't on Two for the Show. So it would have been, I think at this point, it would have been a lot nicer to hear some of the newer stuff from Vinyl Confessions and Hold Your, or what's the other one? I can't think of it. Oh, but anyway, it would have been neater to hear, instead of just all the classics. Don't get me wrong, I'd like to hear them, but hear different, different can be great sometimes. So anyway, it's still strong album. So definitely worth a listen. Okay, going on to the next one, which was at least in '96, but was actually, let's see, well, at least in '98. I'm sorry. Recorded in '89. So almost 10 years earlier. Versus Kansas on the King Biscuit Flour Hour. Of course, there's probably some people out there going, what the heck is King Biscuit Flour Hour? It was how would I put it? Kind of like, basically a rock show host, highlighting different bands and acts and stuff. They come on and play, and it's just a glorified rock concert. Let's put it that way. Now, this one, like I said, was recorded 9 years earlier, and the band then consisted of Steve Walsh, Steve Morris on guitars. Yes, Steve Morris played in Kansas at one point. He was on 2 albums, Power and Spirit of Things. Rich Williams on guitar, Greg Robert did additional keyboards, Billy Greer on bass, and Phil Earnhardt on drums, of course. Good album. Is it their best? This one I don't reach for as much, so I would say no. Starts out again with just a 2-minute and some change portion of Magnum Opus, which goes into One Big Sky off of Spirit of Things, Paradox, Point of No Return, The Wall. Then they do All I Wanted from Power. Steve does a little acoustic guitar of T.O. Witcher. Then they go into Dust in the Wind, Miracles Out of Nowhere. They do The Preacher from Spirit of Things, House on Fire from Spirit of Things, and ends with Carry on Wayward Son. Yeah. Now they got another one down here. It's Dust in the Wind, which is basically a different track. Well, interesting. Now, I don't know what this is. Yeah, Dust in the Wind as a title, then The Miracles Out of Nowhere, Paradox, Big Sky. Different track listing, or not track listing, but whether you got them put on here. The tracks down differently. Let's put it that way. So I don't know. Let's see. Oh, okay, here we go. 2001, the same concert was released on the album Dust in the Wind with Disc Commissions Europe. Oh, okay, for this is Europe. The tracks on the, different order, track order. So, that makes you wonder why they do that. But anyway, like I said, some people would say that, well, with Steve Morris being in there and it's a different version of Kansas. Well, yeah, it was a different version of Kansas, yes. But it's still a good album, but it's not as strong as Two for the Show or Live at the Whiskey. But I would definitely give a listen to it because we all hear things differently, and this might resonate better with you than the other two. Who knows? Only you do. So anyway, but there you have it. Kansas currently, as I said, Phil and Rich are the only 2 original members left from Kansas 2. Phil from the very first Kansas, Rich from the second one. They've done 2 albums lately, last 5 or 6 years. The Prelude Implicit, which is good. It doesn't well, doesn't strike me as good as others, but it's still a good album. You should still check it out. And then the current one, or latest one, was released in July of 2020, Absence of Presence, which is really good. What was really impressive is they allowed the newer members, because I think up to that point, Phil and Rich and all of them were writing the music. So this one, there was more Billy and their current singer. Oh, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Yeah, Ronnie Platt. I think he writes some of the newer stuff. In fact, the current members: Phil Earnhardt, Rich Williams, Billy Greer, David Ragsdale, Ronnie Platt, and Tom Brisklin on keyboards. But definitely worth a listen. I'm going to be doing a breaking of Kansas down the road. I want to get their most current disc, The Absence of Presence, before I do that. I hate doing a show without physical copies, if you know what I mean. I've done it before. A couple of ones without any physical copies. It's okay, but it's a lot better with them. But anyway, there you have it. Kansas, their live albums. King Biscuit Flower Hour. Sounds like a baking show. Yeah, they were on there baking cookies. Live at the Whiskey. Yeah, and they went to the Whiskey to have some whiskey. And then, of course, tube of the show afterwards. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that one, and we'll see you for day 24. And I hope your week goes well, and wherever you are, I hope it's a lot warmer. I'd say that today is cold. It's going to get a lot colder. I think it's supposed to get down in the 30s here in northern Utah midweek. I hope they're wrong. I'm sick and tired of cold. I mean, last weekend was fantastic. The weekend before was fantastic. You know, but what can you do? It's the weather. So anyway, have a good one. And please subscribe. I would appreciate it. Like the video, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment down below on what you think about Kansas and their live albums and stuff. And maybe some input on some of the other stuff. There is some other. So they got Dustin Wynn. Let's see. Now, Device Voice Drum. That was actually a live video, and I do have that one. That's really good. That is really good. Check that one out. I almost forgot all about that. It's got Robbie Steinhardt on violin and vocals again. So there's No Place Like Home. I'm not familiar with that one. Leftovers Are Live and Beyond, and Point of No Return Live Beyond. So I definitely check those out. I'm going to down the road sometime. So anyway, have a good one, and we'll see you next time.